people will be coming in and out, so it is open forum, so things may, the size may shrink and grow, but that's okay. And if there's any questions, we'll have time at the end for them.
Really quickly, I wanted to start, we talked about yesterday, we want to start with bringing up our mission statement just to make sure we're aligned around the organization and the purpose of it. Those of you that haven't seen this or haven't seen it recently, let me reiterate it to you, which is the Global Entertainment Marketing Academy of Arts and Sciences champions the people and work shaping fandom and culture. Through recognition, community, and industry leadership, we set the standard for excellence in entertainment marketing and creative. Our mission is to honor the work, support the people behind it, and advance the industry forward. And that, I think now more than ever, we can agree that advancing the industry forward is challenging, because if you were to ask any media company right now, how are they implementing AI? What are the tools they're using? How are they doing their creative that's advancing the industry forward? You're going to get, you ask 10 companies, you're going to get 10 different answers. And so I think the community part of this mission statement is really important, especially now. And I think that's kind of the heart and backbone of GEMA and its origin. And there are two examples of community that have occurred recently that I wanted to mention. One was here in this building, the very building I'm in right now. We hosted something on February 26th on Thursday in the lobby. And it was two different sessions. One was with Akiko S., the key art designer, did a lot of amazing graphic design work for one sheets and posters and things for various titles. And the second was a content creator panel. And it was great in a number of ways. One, I've received an enormous amount of positive feedback from the people that attended. I was there and had those conversations with people going in, between sessions, while people were getting snacks or drinks, afterwards. And it was just really good to bring people together. I've still heard from people that are like, oh my God, I met the guy that runs that agency. I've always loved their work, and he's going to have me come in and shadow or something. And so I think that sense of community really helps people that are developing their careers as they're moving through the industry. And then a second one that maybe a lot of people here didn't get to attend, because up in San Francisco at the Game Developer Conference, GDS, I got to turn my reactions off at some point, was a panel with the likes of the guy that wrote Rhett Reese, who wrote the Deadpool movies, a gentleman from Sega who oversees how those properties go into the cinema space, like Sonic's, for example, the woman who oversees all brand partnerships globally for AEG, somebody from Call of Duty was supposed to be on that panel, had a little mishap and couldn't make it, but an amazing lineup and really positive feedback from the people that attend the Game Developers Conference. So another example of how GEMA is getting out there and connecting the members of other communities, in this case, the gaming community, with the core membership, which is maybe a lot of the people that are here. So I just wanted to reiterate that it's got a great purpose, and it is for the people, about the people, by the people. It really, truly does live up to that. And so this is important. The things that Stacy and the team have planned over the next year are really wonderful, and you're going to hear more about those later. But welcome and thank you for being a part of GEMA. And I will, I think, throw to Stacy, correct?
Yes, thank you so much for that. My name is Stacy Lacotera. I'm the president of GEMA. I've been with the organization. It's going to be, I think I'm in my 18th year. God, I've lost count, but 18 years now. So I've seen this organization go through wonderful evolutions, through some very, uncertain times over the last 18 years. And right now, I feel like we're emerging within this new realm of possibility in terms of opportunity. And so we're just, as an organization, really excited to be a part of it. And so thank you all for being here. As we're thinking about our mission and how we show up in practice is a big part of our focus this year, right? It's really kind of making sure that we're building forward, that we are not only riding momentum, but creating momentum, creating deeper connections and real opportunities across the industry. So this is going to show up through various ways. Some connecting through the industry more globally, creating space for more honest and meaningful conversations, us making every attempt to support how the work continues to evolve and making sure we're bringing all the right people into the conversations and into the room and creating opportunities to be able to share all of that insight and that knowledge, and really making sure that we are opening doors for the next generation coming into this space is really an important part of the mission as well. So those priorities have really directly informed the initiatives that we're building and investing in this year. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what those are. this going. Here we go. The first one is our Empower Her initiative. So Empower Her is really about something our industry is continuing to work on and work towards, really creating pathways for women to grow, to lead, to be seen. And this goes beyond just visibility. It's about helping to foster and cultivate access to mentorship, to opportunities, and to the kind of conversations and creating the spaces that actually help shape careers. What's actually been really amazing is in response to everything that we've done so far, we have been receiving such positive feedback. We've seen a lot of women across the industry step in, but also a broader group of folks who want to support it, who want to be a part of it through mentorship, who want to contribute in some way, and who really are interested in helping to move this initiative forward. And that's what makes it work. It's community-driven effort. It's really shaped by the people across disciplines and backgrounds and perspective. It was created and became a really big part of what we were doing because of women within our industry and our community who reached out to us. So we're really excited about it. So there's lots of ways to get involved here. You'll see, depending on how you want to show up, whether that's mentoring, hosting, contributing ideas, or just being there, being at events and being a part of it. There's always ways for you to get involved. The next initiative, this ties back to what Scott was talking about. This is our GEMA initiative, showing up where our people are. We all know there's no shortage of events out there. Every week there's another summit, there's another conference, another thing that's competing for your time and your budgets. So instead of us trying to add to that or ask you to choose us over something else, GEMA is about showing up where you're going, where our community already is convening. But we're not just attending, right? We're bringing in curated conversations around our industry, thought leadership, opportunities for the folks in our industry to actually connect in more meaningful ways. And some of that shows up in programming, but a lot of the value really comes from the smaller, more intentional spaces where that real conversation starts to happen and where people can engage a little bit more openly with other people in the industry. And to Scott's point, we've already started putting that into practice. Again, we were recently at the Games Developer Convention in San Francisco, which amasses over 30,000 people over the week in the video game space. It was really important to us to really create a platform where the marketing of that sector of entertainment, and especially the cross-pollination that's happening in adaptations, whether it be through film or streaming or what have you, is just a vital component and part of the business and the economy. And so we'd been talking to GDC about bringing that marketing perspective to their stages. And so we were successful in doing that for the first year. We were able to show up to be able to do that. And then we were at South by Southwest. So Paul, who's on this call, on the Zoom, as well as Chris, both worked really hard with partners to create those spaces for marketers to come together and connect. And Chris led some of the programming for GDC. So I'm going to just hand it over really quickly to them for a second so they can give you a little bit of a highlight on what happened there. So, Chris, you want to start with GDC and the conversation?
No, absolutely. GDC was very eager to establish a partnership with us when we approached them, as while they have a lot of developers, programmers, designers, and whatnot attend their conference, they do not have a lot of marketers. And considering the impact that gaming is having on entertainment IP right now, they considered it us and our community to be vital to how they want to grow and the direction they want to go in. So on one night, we hosted this really terrific open bar happy hour where people who were in the marketing community were able to meet up and talk with each other, and that was a lot of fun. And then the next day, as Scott mentioned, we hosted Rhett Reese, who was the writer for Deadpool as well as Zombieland. He did Peacock's Twisted Metal, and then he has another movie that he's writing right now based on the game Split Fiction. We also had AEG and we had Sega, and they all came together and discussed just the impact that gaming IP as well as gaming fandom is having on marketing and Hollywood right now. So it was very successful. GDC wants to keep the partnership running for next year, so we're very eager to make it bigger and better, and we look forward to what's to come with them.
Great. And Paul, you want to talk about South by Southwest?
Yeah, I mean, GEMA Ad is an initiative based on feedback and the desire to connect. And I think one of the things about these large scale events, well, South by produces probably about 300,000 people. I think it's easy to get lost, but also not find your tribe, or so to speak. I think finding a community within that space was very important. So we actually collaborated with Motion in North Italia to promote a little bit of a mixer that talks about entertainment and the space of entertainment in in connection with brand. So we actually produced a panel, including our very own board member, Matt Hernandez from Paramount Direct to Consumer, and Sohini Sengupta from the Walt Disney Company, to just kind of talk about their work. And I think it was a really good connection point amidst all the chaos that happens right before the Saturday, Sunday fun. So ultimately, we showed up in Austin, and I think it was important for us to have that connection because it just felt like the world got a little bit smaller for those last couple of days. Yeah.
That's great. I'm going to go on to the next initiative that we are working on, which is shared spaces. So while we know that being at those larger industry events is really important, at the same time, we also know that there's real value in creating more intentional, curated spaces specifically for our industry, kind of away from the noise. And that's where shared spaces comes in, right? So shared spaces is really where this idea of a deconstructed GEMA conference kind of takes root. Instead of bringing everyone into a single venue, we're going into the places where the work is happening in the studios, the agencies, creative environments, and creating something within each of those spaces to bring people together. When we do it that way, it changes the dynamic in a wonderful way. You move beyond kind of traditional panels and into kind of real conversations more intimately. You talk about what's happening now, how the work and the craft are evolving, and you're able to take deeper dives into both the strategic and creative thinking side of the industry. We're already seeing what this can be. Like Scott said, love the support from Fox Entertainment, Scott and his team. They hosted our first shared spaces in Los Angeles. And that evening had an industry conversation component around content creators, as he had mentioned, and then a creative deep dive into craft with a creative session. And then it was capped off with the at the bar in the hallway moment that everybody loves about conferences. It was the moment afterwards where conversations were ignited, reconnections were made, new connections were made. And so it was just a wonderful kind of amalgamation of all of those things that we love at a conference, but in a bite-sized portion, which is really the intention of it. And so this is something we're actively scaling. So we are activating them in LA, New York, Miami, Europe, and in the UK. And in Amsterdam, we have on June 3rd. In Amsterdam is the day before our GEMA Day Summit on June 2nd. We're really leaning into shared spaces with a half day across 3 different shared spaces in the city, which is really exciting. It gives folks who are coming in for GEMA Day the opportunity to kind of go around the city, be in creative spaces, and hear directly from the people who are making the work. And listen, if we are not in your city or even near where you are, let's change that, because this is a model that is built to scale into cities anywhere very easily, and we would love to work with you to make that happen. So that is another way to be able to get involved in activating something like this. Okay. The next initiative that we launched last year, and we have a new cohort launching this year, is the guide program. So the guide mentorship program is something that we've been really intentional about designing differently. A lot of membership programs are one-to-one and can be fairly static. What we've built here is a cohort-based model that gives you both depth and range, right? So as a mentee, you're a part of a group that will stay consistent, but you are exposed to different guides over time. So every month, your cohort is paired with someone new in the industry, and that means you're getting multiple perspectives across disciplines while but really building relationships within your own cohort and establishing your future network of people. It's not just about learning from one person. It's really about understanding the industry from multiple angles and also building a network that will last beyond the program itself. That is the intention. Sorry. Okay, so there's a lot of ways for you to engage beyond just being a mentee, whether that's stepping in as a guide, nominating somebody who you think might benefit from the program, hosting a session, or really just wanting to be a part of helping to shape the experience itself. At the end of the day, this is about building stronger pathways into and then within the industry, and really doing it in a way that actually reflects how people are growing. So we welcome anybody who wants to be a part of that. Okay. I'll go to the next one. So the other area that we're really leaning into this year is around content creators and how that ecosystem is continuing to shape our industry. So we've actually launched a content creator advisory council. This is made up of creators whose work and communities are deeply rooted in entertainment. And what's been really interesting is that much of this has been driven by them. They are coming to us. They are looking for a place to be a part of, to feel a part of the community and find ways to support the industry, but also to be engaged more meaningfully within it and to be seen as a legitimate strategic part of entertainment marketing. So because they're not just amplifiers, right? That's not how they see themselves. Yes, they do amplify. They are amplifiers, but they see themselves even beyond that. Just like local markets understand their audiences, creators understand their communities and their followers. They know how to speak to them, how to activate them, how to rile them, and how to really build fandoms in a way that are incredibly relevant to the work that you're all doing. So this is really about moving that relationship forward from a distribution mentality into a more integrated and strategic relationship. So there's a lot happening in this space, including a new partnership around an event that we're doing called MultiCon. So I'm going to bring Chris over and into the conversation so that he is leading the way and leading the charge when it comes to the content creators and MultiCon. So Chris, if you want to jump in and walk us through that.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Chris Purcell. I am Vice President of Strategic Alliances here at GEMA. And as Stacey had mentioned, one of our priorities over the past year has been to really foster a healthier environment between our marketing community and the creator community. And through these meetings and conversations with both sides of the table, we're essentially formalizing a GEMA creator program designed to better connect brands, studios, and creators in a more structured, high-value way, not just one-off campaigns. And with the goal being to help legitimize and professionalize creators, as well as provide our community with really some pre-screened and curated creators, that's tough to say back to back, that they know they can rely on. And through this, there have been a number of initiatives that have come from both sides of the table. As Stacey had mentioned, very eager creators have proposed that we create a credentialing system, for example, one that's designed to help you really recognize people who aren't going to break embargoes and you can trust and will actually work with you on campaigns. And another idea would be to elevate select creators to media status so they get access to screeners, press and promotional materials. Another idea has been to work with them on copyright issues. Often bots will flag them for things that are just promotional. And so we're trying to help them whitelist channels, create faster judgment time when it comes to appeals, for example. And so through this is all kind of leading up to what is the highlight and what I hope is going to be one of our flagship events for many years to come, which is MultiCon. It's a live activation of this vision. It's a one-day event taking place on August 8th at Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles, in partnership with the foundation Make an Impact and Multi-House, what we essentially call a Comic-Con for charity. It brings together major IP and studios. We've received coverage and participation commitments from content creators who cumulatively have over 100 million subscribers who will be coming in and covering. We'll be inviting fans and, of course, the GEMA members to be a big part of it, with the idea of being very simple: turn fandom into measurable impact, with all proceeds going to Make an Impact, which literally funds charities across the country. And so, unlike traditional conventions, MultiCon is designed to be curated, IP-driven, content first, and with a pre-built audience of, as I mentioned, 100 million subscribers already built in. And so we're very excited about what this is and what it can present for us and the future of GEMA. And we love your participation in any of this, whether it's bringing IP into Multicon, whether it's engaging creators through the program, or just helping shape where this goes next. So if you want to be a part of it, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at chris@gema.org.
Great, thank you. All right, it's really exciting. It's a huge undertaking, but one that we feel very strongly is worth the effort and will really help support building that bridge between the content and creator economy and the entertainment marketing industry in a really valuable, productive way where at the end of the day, you're going to see ROI based on that. So really exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. So Kayla from our team is going to walk us through what's ahead this year and what should be on everybody's radar. Kayla.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla Carlson, the Director of Content and Communications here in the Marketing Department at GEMA. So our calendar is really showing up for the industry throughout the year and meeting people where they're at. So it's not just one event, but you'll see, as you see, a lot of different events between a mixture of awards, gatherings, and programs that keep people connected to the work and to each other. So at a high level, there are 3 things happening across the year: recognizing the work, the people, and celebrating creative excellence, bringing the community together through events and sessions, and then also investing in the craft through programs and learning opportunities. So wherever you are in your career, there's really a spot for you. And then there's some key moments that really stand out. You'll see some of these highlighted moments here. So in the spring, we showed up at places like GDC, South by Southwest, and we're headed to NAB, the Sports Emmys, really creating a space for entertainment marketers and creatives inside those bigger industry conversations, which Scott and Stacy and Chris already touched upon. Right. And so in June, we're coming together for the Europe event in Amsterdam, which we're really excited for. 2 days of focused on sharing work, ideas, and perspective across the community. And then over the summer, we have things like Jury Day and shared spaces across LA in different locations where people get to review the work and connect directly. And then in the fall, we have the larger events coming back into place, like MultiCon, like Chris just talked about in August. And then our GEMA Awards and 70th celebration in Los Angeles. We're bringing back things like State of the Art, State of Design, and State of the Industry. So this fall event, the September 24th event, is really exciting, and we want everyone to be involved no matter where they are. And then we'll close out the year with some more community-driven events, showing up in places like United Kingdom, New York, and Miami for awards, community events, and gatherings. So our goal is really simple: to make GEMA something you're a part of throughout the entire year, not just something that you check in with once. So make sure to stay connected to our GEMA calendar at gema.org/calendar, as we're always populating things. New links, new event pages are continually to be popping up. And we're really excited to, take you along with this journey and be a part of your journey.
Yeah, everything Kayla said, all the things. I've been here 18 years. This is the first time there's been an entire year, excuse me, mapped out month by month. For those of you who are familiar with the organization, pre-2020, we did one major conference a year, which was fantastic. It drew thousands of marketers from around the world. The world has changed since, and so we're changing with it. And we're still bringing you all of the things that you valued about the conference and more, and bringing real value proposition and weight to your actual membership. So we're really excited about that. So be sure to check out the calendar monthly. Like Kayla said, some things pop up. We get a lot of people reaching out, say, hey, I want to do this. And we make every effort to send out notifications and communication, but the best place to plan is from the calendar on the website. Okay, so we're shifting gears a little bit now. We're going to talk about awards. This is obviously a core part of what we do as an organization and something we continue to evolve as the industry evolves. So at its core, the GEMA Awards are about recognizing excellence in the work, but just as important, they're about setting the standard for what great work looks like across the industry, right? So they're judged by the people who do the work, which is what gives them real credibility and meaning. So as the programs continue to grow, with more work coming through the process, we've been really focused on how we maintain that standard, really making sure that what ultimately reaches the jury and what shows up on the nominations list is a true reflection of the best of the best of the category and the field that the categories are in, right? So one of the things that we've introduced this year is the GEMA member review round. This is launching in select competitions this year and sits between that initial peer voting and then the final jury deliberation. So adding a layer of industry evaluation. It's not replacing anything, it's strengthening the process, and that's its intention. The first round of voting, which is peer-wide voting, is critical in surfacing the top work across the categories. There's a lot of entries, there's thousands of entries to get through in some competitions, and so it really does take a village. It takes an industry. But from there, GEMA members then will review and bring into focus another layer of evaluation, right? Really ensuring that the work that advanced from the first round meets the level of excellence that will be expected by the jury by the time it reaches jury day. We think that it adds rigor, it reinforces the standard, and it really gives our members community a more active role, right, in setting standards of excellence. So this is a member only, GEMA member only. You have to be an active GEMA member, and there is a qualifying criteria, obviously, to be able to vote in this round. But it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You have access to voting to any competition that has a GEMA member review component to it. So we're really excited about that and kicking that off this year. And alongside that, we're also introducing something new at the highest level of recognition, something that goes beyond winning a category and really looks at distinction within that excellence. So I'm going to hand it over to Paul to talk about the GEMA Laureate Honor.
Hi again. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Paul Lee, Senior Director of Brand and Global Industry Initiatives. The Laureate Honors is a true distinction. And I think the special part about it is that it's not just a novelty, it's something that's supposed to last a lifetime. You know, I have the privilege of getting to have a lot of industry conversations. And one of the things that always stood out to me is that when people talk about their first Promax or GEMA award, it's something special to them. And that's very distinct across board when you talk about other competitions that are out there, so to speak. And I think a way for us to tap into that is really distinctly honor the highest of the pieces. So selected from gold winning work, we're going to be giving the jury the discretion to award something that's heads and tails above everything else. And it recognizes the rare achievement and industry leadership within that. And I think this is something that allows people to understand this kind of set the tone, this set the culture, and it speaks on a much wider array. But we're super excited to announce it this year, including into our North America and global competitions. So stay tuned.
Thanks, Paul. All right, so to close out this part of the conversation, we're going to come back to the core of everything that GEMA does, right? Our membership. So Dashik, I'll hand it over to you and you can walk us through how to get involved and how to really make the most of membership.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. My name is Dashik Woodard. I am the General Manager of Operations and part of the 3-person membership team, which includes me. It includes Nicole with an H. Harris, who is our executive administrator, and her superpower on the membership team is that she's our roadblock removal specialist. So if you're having a problem with your charges, if you're having a problem with your application, she's the one that's going to help get you through that snow blizzard. We also have Kayla Ramirez, who is our events producer, and her superpower is that she is the through line to all of our departments here at GEMA. So she connects silos, she makes sure that communications are going back and forth and that visions are getting realized. So thank you to you two. And thank you to you, the members, because you're the reason that we're here. I hope that you heard what everyone was saying. It's actually in celebration of you. We're in the business of you. We're not in the business of products. We're not in the business of services. We're in the business of you and connecting you to other yous. So that's what this whole beauty of membership. If you've become a member already, this is what you get. If you're here and you're not a member yet, this is what's coming to you because I know you're going to want to join after this. So what we're doing with membership is pretty much just recapping what everyone said. Stacy spoke about the guide program. it's really interesting when we talk about programs like that, because membership is not just you being here saying that you work for an organization and we're happy to have you. You think about these kids that go on field trips and they have to link hands when they're going places so everybody stays safe. That's what we're doing here. If you're at a certain point in your career, we're going to latch you on to other people that can help you along, and then you help the next generation. And that whole little, maybe we could cue the circle of life right about now. That's what we do here. We make sure that everybody's connected in one way or another. Also, the awards participation. Thank you, Stacy, for mentioning that. There's never been a greater time to be a member. I will make the bold statement, 2026, Dashik Woodard, never been a better time to be a GEMA member. And that's because you have an opportunity to have your voice be heard in the awards process. You have a chance to have yourself be seen at our events, and you have a chance to have your heart be loved. Just come to our department. If you don't remember any of this, remember membership@gema.org. You don't have to remember my contact info, Nicole's, Kayla's, or even Stacy's. Just remember membership@gema.org. And if we don't get back to you within 2 hours, one of two things have happened. Either we forgot, or we're really trying hard to find the answer for what you're asking. And that's what we're here for. We're here to serve you. We're here to offer you opportunities to be part of our committees. You can be an ambassador. You heard about the Empower Her initiative. We've got councils, program development. You're the one shaping this. We're not telling you what you want like the radio stations do. I used to work in music. We know about how to tell you what you want. No, we want you to tell us what you want. So please let your voice be heard. Or if you just really want to come to an event and just be part of our ecosystem in that way, you're more than welcome. But I will tell you, our team is very good at picking wallflowers. If we find you on the edge of an event and you're just standing around, we will come up to you and we will encourage you to come meet some people and come engage and do all of those wonderful things. So you're in the right place. And if you don't know, now you know.
Where do I sign up? My goodness. Thanks to Sheik. And there it is. The next part of this is Q&A. So let me stop sharing. We are open to any questions that you have that we can answer here. And if we can't answer them here, we're happy to come back to you with the answers that you need. So there you go. Any questions? Any immediate questions or thoughts? I know it's tricky on these Zooms.
I see Ayana's hand going up.
Ayana, I was gonna say, Ayana, I see you.
Like, hi, I'm Ayana Wiggins, and I was really excited to see. I actually saw this announcement on LinkedIn. I've been looking at this organization recently. I am someone who recently emailed the membership to inquire about the guide program. I was really fascinated by what I read. I am a marketer. I've been working in marketing for over 20 years. And so when I was reading the criteria, it wasn't clear to me if you could only have 7 years experience in marketing overall, or if that meant 7 years experience in entertainment marketing. Because I am new to entertainment marketing. I just recently I'm supporting marketing for a television pilot that we just wrapped production a few weeks ago. And just working on that project has really opened my eyes to a different way of working as a marketer. So that's how I landed on your organization.
That's wonderful. Well, welcome. We're glad you came by us. There's no minimum qualification to be a member. During the process of application, we do ask your experience level so that we can make sure we're tailoring benefits and offerings for different kind of demographics within our membership. But otherwise, everybody's welcome. Anybody who is a marketer or a creative, or is interested in being a marketer or creative, or is just curious about marketers and creatives, can absolutely be a member of the organization, and we welcome them.
Now, does that also apply to the guide mentorship
The guide
program?
mentor, well, it depends on you mean as a mentee?
As a mentee, yes, I
Yeah.
should have clarified that.
No, not necessarily. It's kind of like it's kind of a little bit of a guiding measuring stick to some extent, because we want to make sure that the cohorts that we're building are on or close to the same level within their experience level and careers. So we can put you in the right cohort. So that way you're connecting with people who are kind of going through the same things you're going through. but it doesn't mean it's limited to. I mean, we've had people who've been in the entertainment industry for a very long time, but have just started in maybe one particular discipline of creative or what have you. So they're fairly new to it. So it all just depends on your personal circumstances. But the team is really good about evaluating every single interest and application that comes through for Guide. And then if we have any questions, so we can make sure you're appropriately placed, we will ask those questions. Yeah, no, that's pretty much kind of the way that we evaluate.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then Ayana, I want to add that it's like if you've been in a postgraduate class, extension type study or whatever, no one's at the exact same place in any one
Okay.
group,
Mhm.
right? And your experience that you talked about just now, the marketing that you were talking about, might be insightful and beneficial to your peers while you're
Mhm.
all learning something else from somebody else that does their marketing or their technology or their whatever. You can still be having those shared dialogues, and that cross cohort producing or providing meaningful feedback is, I think, as valuable as what is shared in the program. I really think those learnings aren't just limited to the sessions with your mentors, it's with
Mhm.
each other and the mentors as a collective rolling process, right? So that would be a great amount of experience to bring into a cohort and be of value in that way as well, because everyone there has got their unique perspective on the things they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, love that. And I actually, my background for the past 15 years has been specifically within the hospitality industry.
Right.
So I'm sure there are some synergies, and
Oh, for
um,
sure.
I
Yeah,
think
and
I
this
could bring
last
some value.
Absolutely. In this last cohort, we had somebody who is not in entertainment. She is in luxury brand marketing, and she drew really great value out of being a part of the cohort and also established some connections and opportunities actually that came out of it because now her luxury brand is working with another company of somebody that was in the cohort. So it's all good things. Yeah, great synergies that happen. And Scott would know firsthand because he is one of our guides. I requested for a second, for a second, he was requested back because he was so great. But yeah, so Scott he's intimately familiar. But yeah, no, absolutely, Ayanna, you're welcome to be a part of that program.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm Dashik, you had me sold. So
I know.
We still have link hands. The chic link hands. Love it.
Yeah.
Email us anytime. We're here for you.
thank you.
Anybody else, any questions? You can put them in the chat too, and we can pull them from there.
Or say them here, one at a time, though. It's hard to track all these people talking
I
at once.
know. Zooms are tricky when it comes to
There's
talking.
one, Dawn. What do you got?
Hi, how are you? I'm Dawn. I'm currently a MBA student at NYU, specializing in entertainment marketing. I'm also on the EMSA, the Entertainment Marketing and Media and Sports Association. So um, we obviously have a big crowd at NYU that is going either in entertainment or entertainment business. I was wondering, is there a way to do, I guess, a partnership or a collaboration between NYU students and you guys? Would you be interested in like either speaking, panelist, mentorship, anything like that?
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you actually brought that up. That's not something we covered here because we're in the early stages of developing an ambassadors program at the university and college levels. So your timing couldn't be any better. So yeah, absolutely. We think it's really important. You know, that's a big part of our remit in terms of our mission and what we feel our obligation is to bring the next generation in and create clearer pathways. You can talk to anybody right now. You can probably ask Scott, Lene, anybody else on this call. What was your path into your job? And I'll guarantee it wasn't a straight path. Like it was, I was supposed to be a registered nurse in labor and delivery. Look where I am now. Like there's just these paths that happen. And so we want to make sure there's more awareness around what this industry does, the vitalness of what they do, the impact of what they do on entertainment and culture, and create clear ways for people to come right in. So that starts at the educational level. So absolutely. So let's make sure we connect after this and talk about what the possibilities are for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And then
Yeah.
Dawn, across the industry, like people you might meet through that process and that partnership, inside the membership of GEMA are a lot of people that have already established affiliations with various universities or media companies. So there's a lot of, for example, one of the events that Stacy showed the pictures of that was in our lobby, there were a lot of UCLA extension students that were able to attend that. And they've subsequently grown in their careers. I've heard from a couple of them and they're like, oh my God, I've got a connection where I can learn from this one content creator, which I was never going to get if I didn't make it to that one thing. And it's because we have a partnership with UCLA to a degree, and so that sort of thing is really valuable to not just those things, but the way you leverage those things down the road in your career.
Right, because I mean, so many other in the MBA process, I mean, everyone's going through like this recruiting cycle with, private equity, venture capital with Goldman Sachs and stuff like that. Entertainment does not have something as
Right.
clear as that. It's kind of like a
They-
survival mode, so to speak, or who you know. And I mean, it's definitely that type of industry. I just think that, with the mentorship and the things you guys have us out, I think that would be very valuable for the NYU MBA program
Yeah,
in the entertainment sector.
and reach out to Fox, for example. We have our government representative, Vicky, is also in charge of partnerships with film schools and entertainment marketing programs and advertising programs at various universities. And while it's focused on the local area because it's very easy to do things, that doesn't mean they wouldn't establish something with organizations from out of state. And so I think there's opportunities there as well, because that's an important initiative from the very, very top here at this relatively decent sized media company, where Lachlan Murdoch's like, hey, we need to build better partnerships with our film community. The students that are learning this, where are they going to go later? Let's partner with them. Let's have them
And I
shoot
mean,
their.
NYU is, it's not a tiny little school. We're pretty entertainment
I know.
driven, so
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll talk later.
perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sedona, yes, what we can do is we will kind of edit down the presentation aspect of this and share it. That's a great idea. For those of you who came in a little bit later, might have missed some of the presentation, we'll go ahead and recirculate after the call.
You'll miss my welcome, however, because
You gotta do it again.
it wasn't recorded. So just know, miss the best part.
Yeah. Maybe we can re-record that with you, Linnea.
Yeah.
I
know.
Start over.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyone else?
Anybody
Any
else?
questions, curiosities?
One more
Yes.
question.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
For the GEMA at the US Open, what exactly do you all do there?
So Michelle Kankman, who is on Nicole Kankman, who's on our board of directors. We are working with her to create an opportunity for marketers to come together at the event. They have a week long, obviously weeks long. I think it's over 2 weeks long, right? But there is a fan fest week that she thinks would be really, really beneficial to be able to invite marketers over to so that they can connect. So we're working through what exactly that presence is going to be. But, one of the things that we're committed to with GEMA is making sure that we're showing up in hopefully all 3 ways, but at least one of 3 ways. And that's thought leadership, right? Having fostering the conversations, facilitating the conversations that need to be had that are topical to the industry right now, creating spaces for entertainment marketers to come together and connect and establish new opportunities amongst themselves and their networks. And then kind of closed door session opportunities to when there's other people in the space, bringing vital people to the table to have important conversations that are going to move the industry forward in some way, shape, or form. That's advocating for the things that are really important right now. So we will be showing up in at the very least one of those 3 ways at the Open. And then Taylor had a question: are the at GEMA events sort of a reinvention of the Promax Station Summit? It's kind of it's a deconstructed conference altogether. Yes. So we know that budgets are tight and it's not always easy. For those of you who know Station Summit, it was a week gathering in Las Vegas every year. At the worst possible time of the year to be in Vegas. It's always like 120 degrees on the concrete or hotter. But but hundreds and hundreds of local television marketers and creatives came together with their network affiliates, with their ownership groups, with syndicators, all in one space over the course of a week, and did business and prepared for fall launches and did all the things that they needed to do when taking advantage of being together. And so we are taking the spirit of that, Taylor, into these deconstructed opportunities like shared spaces at GEMA. All of those things that we're doing are to fulfill those things that are no longer there. And as much as we love Station Summit, unfortunately, we know, while there's lots of opportunities on the horizon, there's also some challenges with people finding the ways and the means to get to stuff like that. So yes.
Can I add to that, Stacy?
Mhm.
Um, when we rebranded, right, from Promax to Gemma, one of the things, part of that was to be inclusive not only of television streaming, but movies and music and gaming, and and the marketing and sports and the marketing around that, right? And because we realized that we're all doing the same thing, right? So there's nuances for sure on the local side, right? And there's nuances what people are doing in sports, but we can learn so much more together. And so I think that that's the exciting part of it, is that if we do our jobs right, and if we start extending this to people in those other areas of entertainment, that we can together sort of like lift best practices and think about innovation in a different way and learn from each other. And so I love the idea of us breaking down some of those walls, right? So that we're all thinking about like entertainment marketing as a place and a way to, like highlight this amazing storytelling that each of these different verticals are doing. So yes, like to Stacy answered it well, but I do think like this idea of these like smaller opportunities where different types of entertainment marketers can come together and learn from each other is what I believe is not only the future, but also the big win for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really well said and a great point to make, because when we did not just rebrand the org or rename or rebrand it, we repositioned it. I think it goes without saying that the lines in the sand of how verticals and entertainment did things and how they marketed, how they communicated is very much washed out. Everybody is working together to drive fandom and engagement and viewership and advertising and ROI, all of it, right? You can't have one without the other anymore. So we are uniquely positioned to be able to bring all of those verticals together in spaces. And so that's what we do every day. We've got a small team. I have to acknowledge the team that's on here and the ones that are not. The pandemic did us no favors, as it didn't do favors to anybody, but this team has been very committed to, they see where it can go. They see where the opportunity and potential is, because they are talking to people across the industry. And I don't know how many times we've heard there is no better time than now to have an organization like this. And so we agree, but also this is your organization. We are in service to you. So that's why your voices, your engagement, your contribution is really vital to the success, because, in the end, like the team and I can't want it more than the industry feels like they need it. We are here for that. And I think kind of just going back to making sure we're getting all the right people in the room. And you can't have innovation without diverse perspective. It's just not possible. So that's what we're bringing to the table. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions or thoughts? Not just about questions, but if you have thoughts about what's going on in the industry or ideas, you can throw them out here, or you can contact us afterwards. I know we have 4 more minutes.
I have one last plea though.
Yeah.
I hear so many times like, I didn't even know what was going on, right? please follow, please tell your friends, remind people when you see it on LinkedIn, repost so or those that you're working with, right? Remind them about it. So it's amazing how a organization for marketing and we can't seem to get word of mouth working for us. And you guys there are marketers, we're asking if this is, you clearly have raised your hand, you're here, right? We were talking about it that like you'd go to Promax in June and there'd be 5 people in this meeting, so that we have this is like 20x, right? So again, as you see things, please remember that there's other people that probably also it would be a value of them too.
Absolutely.
Don't do it just because to do it. Do it because it's really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello. I just want to thank you guys for doing everything you do as an independent person in marketing and design. It feels really important to be tapped in. I have a lot of colleagues in the industry, but speaking of, when you guys were at South by Southwest, I had a conflict, so I really wish I could have made that. I was just curious if there was going to be some kind of content or recap on the event that happened at South by.
Paul, I don't think that did they record that?
So we have little sound bits, but we also agreed with the companies that were involved that we wouldn't release too much of the information, but we will be doing some follow-up editorial for this.
Yeah. And even with the shared spaces, we've had conversations about recording them and sharing them. It all just really depends on the topic of conversation and making sure that we're creating spaces where people feel like they can speak openly. So it just sometimes depends on the content. But Juan, I hear you. Like, we are working on ways to be able to kind of share that content, especially with our members, so members have access to all of that.
Sounds
And
good.
if you aren't, and Juan, if you aren't part of or reading or the Spotlight newsletter, that you can see either on LinkedIn or it can be pushed to your email. That's also a great weekly like digest of tips, tricks, and news. So that's another plug for you guys to spread the news on another way to learn about what's happening.
Well, feel free, of course, to Tim, aren't you the best? Look at you. um, to reach out to us, reach out to any of us. The team is always excited to talk to, people in the community. So do reach out if you have ideas or want to know more about how you can get involved. Please do not hesitate. That's why we're here. We're excited to talk to you. And thank you so much for being here today. It was a great conversation and we look forward to connecting with you.